It is Wednesday, July 6, 2022. This is another edition of Baseball Today presented to you by the best shades in the entire business, ShadyRays.com. Go get yourself a pair. If you don't love them, money back guarantee within 30 days. If you break them or lose them, they'll replace them. That's what makes them the best in the biz. Speaking of the best in the biz, I'm joined as always by Trevor Plouffe, who's on vacation out in Cabo, producer Dan, intern Alden along for the ride as well. And you had to become Mr. Handsy when it came to the tech world. I want you to hold up for everybody joining us on the YouTube what you did. That is a delete key that you were holding up. What is going on?
I was trying to sign on. Something's going on with my keyboard, and it started doing that little clicking noise when a button is pressed and held down. And, I tried to fix it, just tapping it a few times, but I had to get my nail filer out and just get into there and take it out. We're all good now, Chris. I figured it out. You called me MacGyver. I've never seen the show. It's a little before my time. You're dating yourself, but yep. I understand the reference.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, for those people that never saw MacGyver, because they don't come out with shows anymore of people who are able to do cool little things with just like the tiniest, like a pin or something. They can, break into a house with a paper clip. There's no new shows like that.
Every like person in a movie can pick a lock, like just like that, no problem. Like, they all know how to break into saves too. They're like listening for it and doing the knob. Come on, let's get real here.
Whatever. All right, let's start it off with the Philadelphia Phillies. They destroyed the Washington Nationals last night. Kyle Schwarber, another couple of bombs. They now hold the final wild card berth in the National League as we speak. This came just hours after their superstar Bryce Harper, who had 3 pins put in his surgically repaired thumb, said this.
I don't want to put a number on anything. I will be back at some point in some capacity. I don't think it's smart of me to give you guys a timeline when I don't know when at this point.
But you will be back.
I will be back. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, you guys.
I will be back, he says, even though he is not a doctor. So what are the odds this thing's going to play out like a movie script? And come September, here comes Bryce Harper out of the dugout to make that playoff push.
I mean, that is like he should come out as Arnold Schwarzenegger, the Terminator. Like, I'll be back. Just come out and do it. Save everybody. I don't know. Like, we talked about healers on this show. Mookie Betts, fast healer. Bryce Harper apparently believes he's a fast healer. I'm all about this. I'm all about the Phillies having to like struggle to get to the playoffs. And then, yes, Bryce comes and like kind of puts them over the top. Great storyline. Is it going to happen? Seems like it. I've been on the Phillies. I can't get off them now, Chris, especially when Schwarber is going off like the way he's going off. He hit that second homer yesterday. He pulled his hands in and kept that thing fair. You are absolutely locked in when you're able to do that to that baseball, to keep that fair like he did. I hope it happens that way. I've grown to like love Bryce Harper and everything he represents on the baseball field. So if this happens, I'll be all for it, cheering him the whole way.
So I am rooting for it to happen. I am trying to get my baseball brain to wrap myself around it and figure out whether or not the Phillies can do it. I think I would say no, because I don't think that their bullpen can do what it's done over the last 2 weeks, which is statistically be the best bullpen in all of baseball. I do believe that Nick Castellanos has more to give. He got a couple more knocks last night and has steadily been improving. JT Realmuto hit his 7th homer of the year. That was big. Rhys Hoskins had an enormous month of June, like I predicted on this show. So he's got to continue to do that. And Schwarber has got to treat July and August and early September like it's the month of June. By the way, I can't ever remember a guy having back-to-back Junes the way that he did.
But not all that needs to happen, because they have played a really, really tough schedule. Now, yes, you want Real Muto to come and do his thing. I love seeing him hit Oppo home runs. They have an easier schedule going forward. You know they're going to add at the deadline, or at least attempt to add at the deadline. I think that's the story here with a lot of these teams, is like, what are they going to do? You're going to have, probably 8 teams buying from the National League at the deadline, and like, who's going to add what the piece that puts them over? The Phillies need some things. I believe some help in the bullpen, to continue to do what they did, like you mentioned. So if they do that, then, getting Bryce Harper back like that at the end of the season, if they're within reach, man, that's baseball. That's the fun stuff right there.
I want to make this very clear, Philly fan. I want this to happen. I'm just saying that when I look at it from 35,000 feet, I'm not so sure that all the pieces can come together, in part because they're fighting when it comes to the trade deadline with one arm tied behind their back. They have a shitty farm system. They don't have a lot that people really crave and covet, certainly the way that other teams do. They have a gaping hole in. I know, I understand the money side of it.
The money side, baby.
They have a gaping hole in center field. They obviously need bullpen help. Bullpen help is much easier to get than a center fielder. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. That's all I'm going to say. Okay. By the way, Schwarber, 25 homers. That leads the National League. He's got 5 in his last 8 games. He's just on a tear.
Bryce kind of cornered himself. Like he kind of has to do the Schwarzenegger thing now when he comes back. It's for marketing reasons and like for your brand, bro. Go ahead. You can steal that one.
Speaking of teams in the National League East, we talked about Max Scherzer making his return yesterday for the first time since May 11th. And boy, did he turn to me and say, Rose, stop saying shit about my injuries. I am a baseball pitching god. 6 shutout innings, 2 lone singles, 11 strikeouts. No, but I'm just going to play like he did. No walks. However, the Mets lose in a walk-off variety against Mike Moustakas and the Cincinnati Reds. So what was the bigger story? The fact that Max Scherzer not only returned healthy, but was dominant, or that the Mets lead over the Braves in the East is down to 2.5 games?
It's the Max is back. And I think these two things kind of go hand in hand. You know, if the Mets were going to continue to do or to be at that level and to compete with the Braves going deeper into the season, they need to get these pitchers back. So Max coming back looking the way he did is a step in that right direction for them. DeGrom on his way back as well. But Max looked nasty last night. Like, is it vintage Max? Is it prime Max? Like, what kind of Max are we looking at? Because it looks like prime Max right now. He is dotting that fastball up. He's throwing hard. He's got the slider, placed wherever he wants, adding and subtracting to it. Like, this is what we all wanted to see. This is what we've been talking about this whole time. Mets have been gritty holding on to this position, and now they're going to add Scherzer. They're going to get DeGrom back. These guys look disgusting, but the Braves are coming too. So like this is going to be a heavyweight fight towards the end of the year. They have 3 games at the end of the season, like kind of right before the end of the year. It's the second to last, what's it called? Series. But they meet a lot in August. So like DeGrom's going to be back in August. Like this is going to be like kind of must-watch TV.
Yeah, Jacob DeGrom pitching against his future employer. It'll be really, really fascinating. I'm kidding, Mets fans. Stop throwing shit in the YouTube comments. I'm just having a little fun. I know, not fun for you. Yeah, they meet 15 more times. They've only played 1 4-game series so far, which is ridiculous. They will squeeze one in before the All-Star break, so that'll be cool. And I remember that, what was it, a couple of weeks ago, we said, well, what's the deficit going to be at that point? And we were like,
yeah,
well,
you did.
It's going to be pretty close. And sure enough, that's what it's going to end up being. So Mets fans, don't panic. The great news is that Scherzer looked as good as he did. And Sarah Langs, who's one of the best in the business at giving perspective, last night was Scherzer's 28th career double-digit strikeout, no walk game. That is the second most in baseball history. Do you know who's first on the list? Did you see this?
I did not.
Would it shock you if I told you that Randy Johnson has the most double-digit strikeout, no walk games in Major League history?
Not really. I mean, that sounds like a name that could be there for sure. I know he's had control issues at some points in his career, but when he was on prime, like, yeah, that doesn't shock me. He's striking out 10 guys every freaking night. So,
yeah, I mean, the next 2 guys on the list didn't surprise me. Schilling at 27, Kershaw at 25. Both those guys, very good control pitchers. But Unit, I mean, I'm old enough to remember every pitch of Randy Johnson's career. When he first came up with Montreal and then got traded to Seattle, guys were so afraid to step in the batter's box because they literally did not know where 100 was going. It's terrifying. It was terrifying for guys. And I could not believe that he honed his, I'd have to go back and look at once again at like his walk numbers.
Get those numbers up right now. I'm gonna get them up right now. Rose. We got this thing called the internet.
The interweb. Or
what do you,
snap face, as Bill Belichick likes to call it in his little press conferences. I love that when he does that. He's
So
just
his
mocking
best.
us all.
Oh yeah, look at this. Some of these walks per nine. He had a 6.8 walk per nine in 91. That's not very good. He got it down to 1.6 in 2004. That's when he won. Second in the Cy Young, but he won the MVP.
No, he didn't.
What?
He didn't win the MVP.
Was it? Oh, 19. Sorry. I was going to say that doesn't make any sense. I had the 9 covered. No big deal.
You know what? Put your
He got
key back on
from
that thing.
6.8 walks per nine down to 1.2.
Remarkable. Yeah, that's good.
A little bit.
So big picture here, Mets fans, don't panic. It's great that you got Scherzer back. Hopefully in a couple weeks, we'll be talking about Jacob deGrom not throwing 100 past teenagers in single A, but rather blowing 101 past the Atlanta Braves, and that'll be fun. Let's continue on with our spin through the National League East. Sandy Alcantara again, make it 11 straight starts where he's gone at least 7 innings. Last night, he went 8 in a 2-1 win over the Halos. So if you're keeping pace, the Marlins have now won 6 in a row. They are just 3 out of that final wild card. Are you buying the mighty Miami Marlin?
I think so. I mean, I told you before the season, I said my dark horse team to win the World Series was the Miami Marlins because of the pitching staff. I didn't know Sandy was going to be this good. You know, I thought the rotation depth was going to be their strength, but Sandy's been otherworldly. I mean, he was nasty last night. It was funny. I was texting with Max Fried the other day. I was like, hey, man, like, when you're in town in LA, can we see each other? And we talked a little bit. And I said, you know, you're the best pitcher in the NL. And he goes, you know what? I appreciate that. Appreciate you gassing me up. But there's this guy named Sandy in the NL. And I was like, you know what? You're right. What he's been able to do, how deep he's been able to go in the games. He's throwing 101, like, you know, whenever he needs it. Sandy's a guy. And as long as Sandy's pitching the way he's pitching, and I don't know if he can keep it up going this deep into ball games. Like, what's he on pace for? 250 innings? I have no idea. But if he's going like this, then Miami's a contender.
So Max Fried said that Sandy's the best pitcher going. That's from his mouth?
That's from his mouth.
Wow. That's impressive. And Fried's got a good one tonight against Miles Michaelis. I'll be tuned into that. I always love it when guys are giving other players love. I mean, that's the ultimate respect right there. And I think he's on board.
Yeah, I think what guys are really respecting out of Sandy, and I think most people will know this, is just how deep he's going. Like his starts, like if he's not getting into the 8th inning, it's a bad night for him. Like he's pitching like guys used to pitch back in the day, but he's doing it at that level where it's like he still has his stuff. He's not laboring into the freaking 8th and 9th, you know, trying to just pitch around and trick guys. He's still got his electric stuff in those innings. It's really incredible to watch.
Well, first of all, I want to give out a shout out to the Twitter handle Slappy Bag of Donuts because there's a young lady named Claudia who's a huge baseball fan, and she wrote, it's Sandy Alcantara, say all of the A's. So she said, send this to your non-Spanish speaking friends. Thanks. And so he forwarded it to me. So, you know, countless times on this show, I've said, I love Sandy. I just don't know how to say his last name because I've heard it 18 different ways till Sunday. And I even blew the chance I had when I had Miguel Rojas in studio up at the John Boy Media headquarters. I should have asked him how to pronounce it, and we could have gone over it for 5 minutes. So I want to thank him. Yeah. The bigger question, am I buying the Marlins? Well, the fact that Joey Wendell is back doing his thing is really big. They need veteran leadership in that lineup. No batting gloves. Guy that can spray the ball all over the field is huge. I got to be honest with you. I don't know Avisail Garcia. He drives me nuts. All I see him is his dollar sign. What would they sign him for? 53, 54 million. Yesterday he got ejected. He hasn't carried he's got to be better. This lineup has got to be better because there's not a wave of prospects coming. There are 2 dominant forces when it comes to pitching that are in the top 25 prospects in all of baseball. They just released their new top 100 yesterday. Both these guys are in it. Max Meyer, Yuri Perez. They are there. If you have to trade a starter not named Sandy, do it. Get hitting help. Get somebody that anchors the back of the bullpen. Tanner Scott has done some nice things. His strikeout numbers are great. His walk numbers drive me through the roof. I don't trust him with the ball in his hands in the 9th inning. This team is too talented. They are too close to being almost great. Let's go get it, Marlin. Let's get it.
We need like a detailed interview with Jeets. I want to know the inner workings, what's going on over there, because you're so right. Like it seems like they're just like one or two like moves away, like just quick little chess moves away to being a legitimate contender in the National League. And they do have pitching. I hate giving away proven big league starting pitching for prospects or a bat. They better get some years of control with that bat, because you don't just get up. That's good, Chris. That's
all right. Well, unfortunately, I think your Zoom has kind of hit the.
They have that starting pitching depth.
All right.
Oh,
No, I think you're good now. I think you're
I'm
good.
back.
Yeah,
I was just yelling at you, bro.
I know. Well, I think that's what happened, is that the Zoom gods did not want you to yell at me. So basically what I understood was, yes, that you don't like giving away proven veteran starting pitching, and I get it. But if this is the way this team and this organization is going to run, and they're not giving away Perez and they're not giving away Meyer, you know what? Bring one of those guys up now. Say, we believe in you. Shit, let's go for it. Let's go for it the last few months. You know, this team, they made the playoffs in the COVID shortened 2020 season. But other than that, I think the last time they made it in a legit full season was when they won it all in 2003. That if we're going to try and get the young fan base involved in Miami, take your shot. Go swing for the fences. Go make a huge play for Brian Reynolds. Go get a center fielder. If you got to give away one of the young guys that's in the outfield there, do it. I want to win some fucking ball games if I'm Miami. And not I don't know.
I'm on this their spot track that says their total payroll with like everything included is $83 million this year. Go eat some money on a contract, whatever you need to do. Like, come on.
Their biggest weakness is center field. Like they wanted to bring back Starling Marte. That didn't happen. So we had heard about Nick Castellanos. We know he's not a center fielder, but he would have been a huge bat in the middle of the lineup. I get it. It hasn't played out great in Philly so far, but I would have loved that move. Instead, they went for Avisail Garcia instead, and it's been disastrous. They're close.
My Marlins. Hey, you know what, everyone? Don't jump on the bandwagon. I'm driving the train. Don't jump on this bandwagon. Leave me alone.
All right, I'm going to give you a choice for our fourth topic. Originally, it was going to be that amazing game between the Orioles and Rangers, which was one of the most entertaining ones we've seen all year, and we haven't spent a lot of time talking about those two teams. Or the Ken Rosenthal report that says Albert Pujols could be selected to the All-Star game because the commissioner has a special Legends exemption that he can use in the collective bargaining agreement. Which one would you rather talk about?
Oh, man. I mean, I respect Albert so much. It's hard not to talk about him. But then if we don't talk about Rangers Angels, people will be pissed at us.
Then let's do Rangers Angels, and we'll save Albert for the live amp people. Okay?
I think so. That's good.
All right. Rangers and Orioles. I think I said Angels. Sorry. Brain freeze.
Did you say Rangers Angels?
I think I might have. Who knows?
That wasn't it.
Rangers Orioles. A fun, fantastic, lovable game from the top to the bottom. Who would you rather be a fan of the rest of the season? The Rangers or the Orioles?
That's a good question. You kind of changed it up on me right there.
Yeah, I did a little bit.
Interesting. I think I'm more inclined to watch the Orioles right now. I think there's just kind of some things I like about the team. I like the way they've been playing. I like that a guy like Brandon Hyde, I talk differently about managers all the time. He's been like through the fire over there, having to go through some really tough years. And I kind of like when like a manager starts to like get his team to play well and starts winning some ball games. I like that. Cedric Mullins is so fun to watch. So I'm going to say the Orioles. I don't think either of these teams, they're close to that last wild card or they're working their way up. I don't think either of these teams is probably going to be there at the end. But the Orioles to me have been a more like fun, exciting watch.
Yeah, it's interesting because the Rangers to me are much closer to being a playoff team than the Orioles are. First of all, they're in the right division. You can't be in the AL East and be like, yeah, we're the fifth best team. We're really close. The Rangers, though, they could finish second in that division in the AL West and actually be sniffing that third wild card with 2 weeks to go. It wouldn't surprise me, in part because Marcus Semien started playing like Marcus Semien over the last month. Corey Seager hit his 16th home run. Hasn't been a great year for him, but it's been okay. It's been solid. They've had some other really good performances out of some veteran players. They still don't have enough pitching, in my opinion. But I will say this about the Orioles. You're close to not sucking. You're really close to not sucking. And that is a huge improvement. That's not a slap in the face. The thing I worry about is that I think they're going to trade a bunch of their veterans over the next.
That's what I was just going to say. I mean, they're bringing the young guys up. So you're seeing some of the talent that's on the pipeline. Like you can see like, some light at the end of the tunnel, but then like this year, you're right. Like they'd be smart to trade some of those relievers that are aging, and that's probably what's going to happen.
Well, that's what they should do, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
The bullpen over the last 5 days or so has been terrible. Horrible. Yeah. Before that, it was the biggest reason why they made such significant strides this year. So sell high. I would get rid of those guys right now before it goes south over the next 3 to 4 weeks. Don't let that happen. Get something, because you can get something for relievers at the deadline. I also think guys like Mancini, Santander, I think those guys will hit the road too. The fun part would be obviously watching a guy like Adley Rutschman, who had a huge hit last night, continue to develop. Grayson Rodriguez, he's banged up, and I hope that they don't baby him when he comes back, but I could certainly understand it. He's got no oblique. So if they feel like, well, we're just going to shut him down and not, we'll see him at the beginning of next year. Okay. But like, that's the fun stuff for a fan base that has suffered, is when guys like that pop and then all of a sudden you dare to dream.
I agree. It's going to be kind of like bittersweet, I guess, for Orioles fans. You're seeing your team compete, but then they have to trade guys away to secure, what future that you do have.
Yep.
The business side.
Yep. All right. Let's get to the last thing. The Angels, who have just been an unmitigated disaster over the last 6 weeks of the baseball season, tried to have a little levity yesterday before their game in Miami as they busted out these shirts that we're showing on the YouTube side of things. It's a picture of Raisel Iglesias holding a whole bin of sunflower seeds that he threw on the field after that fight against the Mariners. And on the back of the T-shirt, it says, "I love sunflower seeds." Thumbs up or eh?
The shirts are okay. They're funny. I do have an idea. I'm just giving out marketing ideas all day today. I have an idea for Raisel. What's this giant sunflower seeds? I actually visited that facility before. I believe they're in North Dakota. I took a tour of it. Delicious sunflower seeds. But if I was Raisel, I would go to their competitor and start a deal saying, like, get that video of me throwing these giant sunflower seeds out of there and then holding your bag of sunflower seeds up. You're welcome, Raisel. Go cash that check.
He probably could use it after paying a fine. Yeah. That's a good idea.
Donate to charity.
I do love it when teams come out with pregame shirts. I'm a big fan of it. We saw the Giants do it with the whole fantasy football fiasco, where it's okay to stash an injured player on the list, and then the Reds responded with FAM t-shirts. So I'm all in favor of it. The problem is that the Angels are just like, they're grasping at straws now. They're like, okay, let's make fun t-shirts, and maybe that'll break the skid.
Dude, think about where the Angels were. We were celebrating. We're like, this is the year. They figured it out. They signed a zillion pitchers. A few of them are working out, and we're going to get to see our guys in the playoffs. And then it just went absolutely south within a week, 10 days. That's what it was, right?
Well, they didn't win for 2 weeks. I think at some point, Plouffe, they were 27-17 is what I want to say.
They were 10 games over 500. They ended up losing 12 in a row.
I think it might have been more than that even. So now, since then, they have won 10 games. They're 37-45. They're 17 out of the West. They are, oh my God, it's just bad.
Is there a run in this team now? No. I'd pronounce the Mariners dead. I think it was June 20th, and they've went on this run, and they've played some, sub 500 teams, but they're looking good. They're getting some players back from the injured list. They have easier schedule going forward. So like they are back and they had a run in them. Do you think the Angels have some sort of run in them to get back into this thing? Are we done?
It's over. It's over. I wish I could say otherwise. It's over. That's it. I'll see you next year. Mike Trout, I can't remember a time where I've seen him struggle as long as he has. He had that like 0 for 26. Then he got a few hits, but every time I look up, he's striking out.
He's had a rough last 4 or 5 games as well. Yes. Striking out a lot. I think he had 1 hit last night. Before that, I think it was 4 or 5 games without a hit. He goes through streaks like that.
Not like this.
He'll be all right.
All right.
But if you look at his numbers at the end of the year, I guarantee you they're going to be exactly. He'll have a 1 daughter. It'll get there.
Shohei's pitching today. Yay. That's it. What do you have coming up on John Boy?
We're not doing a midweek episode of Talking Baseball, so I have nothing coming out until Friday. We'll recap all the games that are going on, and then you and I, obviously, together Monday through Friday.
So you will not be here. You'll be traveling back to the States.
Yes.
I did find a replacement. You ready to hear who it is?
Someone awesome that everyone's going to be like, oh, it's better than Plouffe?
Yes.
Damn it.
Jason Benetti.
Okay. I respect that one.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I've never met Jason in person. Reached out to him through my buddy Boog Shambi, and he said, I'm very excited. I think he said something like, I'm very excited, Chris, to be on John Boy Media.
Your Rolodex is so deep.
No, it's not that deep. Well, it's not bad. It's not terrible, but it's getting better. But I appreciate it. That I love it when guys come on for different perspective. I did try a couple of people in-house. Joe's is going to Boston for the Yankees series, I believe. Moylan and Blevins are busy. And listen, we have a lot of talented people, but I also like opening it up. I think it's good to get some fresh energy on, at our media company and show, how different ways that people think in this great game. That's what makes it fun.
Change my number on you.
What the hell does that mean?
I'm going to change my number on you. Then you're going to want me back in your Rolodex. And I'm going to charge you for it.
Will you stop it? Holy smokes. That's a
nice bottle of wine. I can send it to Ian Happ.
Enjoy your last day in Cabo. Please travel safely. That's all I care about. I want you back here so I can see you on Friday. Shout out to our producer extraordinaire, the sleeveless Dan Rourke, our summer intern, Alden Stone, as well. Thank you very much for tuning in. We will see you Thursday with Jason Benetti on Baseball Today.